morning. Good morning, everybody. Let's just say 85% compatibility with someone. That's fucking take it.
Look when he was VP to now. You look when he was VP to now. You look when he was VP.
Harry Littman is, Boston Brian is, etc. Hey, I thought I had seen the Blue Angels somewhere. Not at George, but I thought it. I just come running when someone says the word cookie. Here I am. Well, thank you, Nick Rich, for being here. I do appreciate you so much for always.
J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird.
What was weird was him joking about racism.
Any of that drama. I haven't watched any of it since Tuesday. So the last thing I
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
All right, mic is on. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I made sure I was up on time today. I started the little intro thing exactly at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So anyhow, good morning, everybody. Good to see you. We got some folks in here already, 12 watching, 16 thumbs ups. Pretty good ratio. So thank you all for being here and waiting patiently. Alvin Stoob says, did Trucker John set an alarm? I did. I did yesterday, but today I did. But I actually woke up before the alarm today, and I instead of going back to sleep, I stayed up. We got Carrie C in the driver's lounge. Deborah Murphy. Hello, Deborah. Mar Barker's here. Hello, Mar. Good to see you. I'm not sure if you were here before or not, but welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Roxanne Arfield's here. Good morning to Roxanne. MJ Daniel, good morning and cheers. I got my coffee. And Jolie's here. Hey, Jolie, good to see Jolie. Didn't have to call me to wake me up this morning. So that's a good thing. I got up and everything. Let's see. Teresa's here. Good to see Teresa. Good morning to Teresa. Let's see. Yeah, we got Roxanne, Teresa. Everybody's here. The gang's all here. All we need is our 2 resident Tims and Nick Rich 56, and we'll have everybody. And Kimchi. But maybe they'll roll in here in a little bit. Fancy's here. Never fear. Good morning to Fancy. We got Stephen Sayers. Hey, good morning to Stephen Sayers. Holy Moldy. Look at this. And okay, that's everybody. So I'm caught up in the chat already. Look at there. See, when you get here on time, you can get caught up a lot easier. So, instead of being 56 minutes behind in the chat. All right, guys. So what's going on? And it's funny. Just when the intro finished, the AC kicked on, which I'm glad I did because it was getting a little toasty in here. And but I don't think you guys can hear it. The thing about this mic that's pretty cool is it seems to be picking up my voice. Okay. In fact, can I get a sound check? How is the sound? Does it sound okay? Hey, J.A. Dickey's here. Hi, y'all. Well, hello back at you. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping on in. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. I thought I would do a show today. This is a special show. This is not my schedule. As you can see, the schedule over here. This is not my regular scheduled time. But I figured since Hal Sparks is usually on right now, and he's up in Orlando at Disney World having a good time with his girlfriend, I figured, well, maybe I'll just come on and we can hang out. For all the people who like to hang out at this particular time of the day, and you need a place to, chit chat, you can come right here. So make sure you hit the share button in case there's some other sparklers or trucklers or anybody else out there who didn't get the message. Maybe hit the share button and let them know we're going to be here for a couple hours, chit-chatting. Shooting the old bull. Jolie says, sound, thumbs up. See, I can read emoji. All right, good. I'm glad you guys can hear me. I'm trying not. I have a tendency to want to really get down here and get in front of this mic, but I don't really need to do that. I don't. So hopefully I'm not too close and it's not blaring too loudly. Hey, Carol Alana is here. Carol says, I'm here, but garden getting veggies for our county fair, so just listening. Grew lots of different peppers and tomatoes. Sounds delicious. And that's the great thing. You can listen while you do some work, that's a cool thing. So yeah. Steve Sarah says blueberries for lunch. I don't know. I didn't think of having blueberries for lunch. I just barely had breakfast. I just had me a couple of fried eggs and some toast and coffee. Let's see. Pretty much caught up. So, so I was saying, so I'm just thought I'd be on during this time in case there's anyone that wants to hang out while Hal is not on. I believe Hal will be on sometime this afternoon. He said his times are going to be different because he's in the Eastern time zone right now, so that kind of throws him off. But let's see. Let's go ahead and get started. I do have some decorations, that I call them. Although I do have decorations now permanently. It's different than when I had the green screen. But here's a little thing. I think we must remain vigilant because do you remember in 2016? I do. And every poll had Hillary leading, and even right up to the very end, it was like Hillary's is got this thing in the bag. Uh, she had a 98% probability of winning. Or like it seemed like Trump had no chance whatsoever. And of course, we see what really happened. The results uh, with Trump winning the Electoral College. So we have to, like I've been saying, we can't get complacent. We can't, just think that Kamala has this thing in the bag. We got to make sure we get out and vote. We all got to show up. There's no sitting this one out. We got to make sure we vote so that orange shit stain over there and on the right side there doesn't ever get anywhere near the levers of power, anywhere near the White House ever again. Steve Sayers says, aren't fried eggs great? I like them. Hey, Robert Perez is here. Good to see you, Robert. He says, top of the morning to you, Trucker John, and to all you beautiful trucklers. A hearty good morning. Thank you so much, Robert. Good to see you. Bonnie Thompson's here. Hello, Bonnie. Good morning to Bonnie. Let's see. J.A. Dickey Comey, he intervened. Yeah, a lot of people blame it on Comey. I blame it more on Russian interference, misinformation campaigns, really sort of micro-targeting those areas in those Rust Belt states and states, in the swing states. I think it's more that, but I think Comey was kind of set up really by the Congress and by, who knows, maybe the New York City field office, FBI field office, who sat on that computer all the way till the last minute, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, by the way, here's this computer, this laptop you might want to check into. And then that they'd been sitting on, and then Comey was like, okay, well, why didn't you give this to me like 3 months ago or whatever? And then he was required by Congress to report to them if anything new came up. And I think Comey just said, well, hey, I just got this laptop. We're going to look into it. And that's what made all the news. And then Comey came back a little bit later and said, yeah, we've already looked at all this. This is all the same old shit that we looked at previously. There's nothing new here. But by then, I guess, it was a little late. So, I mean, we can blame Comey, but I blame more Republican Senate and for whoever sat on that laptop for, I think, months and months and didn't do anything with it before they handed it over to Comey. Anyhow, let's see. We got J.A. Dickey, the FBI guy Trump fired early on, ironically enough. Talking about Comey. Buddy Thompson says Hillary Clinton was doomed from the get-go. Republicans have been trashing her for a couple decades. Well, you can say she was doomed from the get-go, but she led every poll. I mean, she was leading all the way, if you remember, all the way to election day. She was way ahead in the polls. Now, I know I guess that's the argument for not believing polls. But I kind of can't blame, 2020 is hindsight. And hopefully, and I do think Democrats in general have learned a lot of lessons from that Hillary campaign about not taking things for granted, not neglecting, campaigning in certain areas, and also taking the polling with a grain of salt. And I think we're seeing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are just barnstorming, and I don't think they're going to take anything for granted. And that's the lesson to learn from the 2016 campaign. But I kind of can't blame the Hillary campaign for, at that time, 2016. You got to remember, this is 2016. and they thought they had it in the bag. And I think I don't blame them for thinking that. All the polling what's that 520.org or whatever. I mean, everybody had her way, way, way out in front. It wasn't even close. So and to the point where I thought she had it in the bag. I think we all thought she had it in the bag. Even Donald Trump thought that she had it in the bag. Donald Trump did not think he was going to win, especially when it got close to election day. And on election day, he wasn't prepared to make an acceptance speech or anything like that. That's well documented that he didn't think that he was going to win on that day. It's been reported many times. So I can't really. It's really easy now in 2024 or even anytime after 2016. It's really easy to lay blame on the Hillary Clinton campaign, but I think it's not really fair because hindsight is 2020, like I said. And the thing that we do and what we should do and what I think we have done is we learn from that mistake. And I do think that certainly the Kamala Harris campaign has learned, and the DNC and the Democratic Party in general, I think, have learned a great lesson from that. Let's see. J.A. Dickey says Parkinson's law plus the Peter principle. You sometimes get promoted past your ability to be functional or function. Was the laptop hacked open before the feds got their hands on it? I don't know which laptop you're talking about. That sounds like you're talking about the Hunter Biden one or something. The laptop that I was talking about was Anthony Weiner's, right? And or maybe that was the Giuliani laptop. Giuliani gets involved a lot with this, but they had found, I guess, because they'd already gone through Anthony Weiner's laptop, and they got all this, whatever shit they got from it, they already had. And then I think, I don't know if it was Giuliani, I forget. Now I forget. Maybe you guys could remind me. But that latest one that Comey had to report on was somebody else's laptop, but it had all the same shit that they'd already seen. There was nothing new. That's basically what Comey said. We've got this laptop. We looked at it, and it was all duplicates. So anyhow, J.A. Dickey, we are the blue wave. Yeah, we got to keep that blue wave going, blue tsunami. J.A. Dickey says, plus Murphy's Law and how just about anything can go wrong. Yeah, good old Murphy. Steve Sayre says, that's right, Trump was surprised too, yeah. I mean, everybody, that's why it was so shocking. I was so shocked. I've played video I made a video of me just basically almost crying and just pleading with, that this not go through, that this cannot happen. Basically I was like a Jan 6er saying, don't count the votes or whatever. I mean, it was just so shocking and unbelievable. I did go into a depression for a couple of months over it. I mean, it was because it was so shocking and upsetting that Trump could win, and I think we were all in shock for a little while. Let's see, Izolda's in here. Good to see Izolda. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. Walter Makarovich has popped into the driver's lounge. Good to see Walter. Says, good morning, Trucker John, and to everyone in Trucker's Lounge. I'm not going back. Yep, me either. We're not going back. Says Jay Dickey says, no, he didn't. He then has to act like a president. Oh, okay, he didn't think he would. Even if his impulses are much worse, that he wants to. Yeah, he didn't. Because people thought, that's another thing. People thought, well, okay, maybe he'll act more presidential now, and nope, not Trump. He was still just as much of a, little name calling, little fucking, prepubescent mentality that he always. Marty Thompson says, remember in 2016, the DNC and Podesta's emails were hacked? Yeah. And the media was all over it. Now that Trump was hacked, the media is silent. Well, okay, the difference being that Hillary Clinton's server was hacked, and she was Secretary of State. Okay, that's the difference. Donald Trump is not anything. He's a former president, I know, but he's not a current office holder. So that could be a big difference. And Podesta was her campaign manager or whatever, right? So, yeah, I mean, I see your point though. No one is saying like Trump is negligent for but she kept the server in her house, so I don't know. It might be a little different. J.A. Dickey says Hillary's, but yes, Anthony's and Hunter's, and maybe his honors, the mayor of New York City laptops as any. I think go Cold War era. Lots of laptops, and actually for Hillary, it wasn't her laptop; it was her server, right? That got hacked. I think, unless I'm misremembering. Let's see. William says, "Hey TJ and everyone else." So William's here. Good to see you, William. Thanks for popping in here to the driver's lounge. Good morning. Hey, we got Vin Bowie. Hey, Vin Bowie. Good to see you. Hello. Welcome to the driver's lounge. I think that's the first time I've seen your name in here. So welcome to Sugar John live stream, and just welcome. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share all that good stuff. Let's share the show out. MJ Daniel says, I skipped all the steps and went straight to pissed off because I knew Clinton really won, and it was like Al Gore all over. Well, the thing is, it was different. I mean, Al Gore did win more votes and did win Florida, which electorally would have given him Al Gore the presidency. But then Supreme Court stopped the count, and they basically handed it over to Bush, which that is horrible and disgusting. To this day, I'm still pissed off, and we should all be pissed off about that. I think that is different, a little different anyhow. I mean, Hillary won because of, I think, foreign interference, foreign misinformation, basically the Russians. And I think that's a little different. But at the end of the day, both were wronged. And I was just thinking that this morning, like, what if Hillary had won, and we know she won, but at least the popular vote, and should have won the Electoral College. There shouldn't have been this outside interference. And so let's say if she had won, she would be, this would be her second term wrapping up. We would be going into this 2024 election, and Kamala Harris might not even be, the nominee right now. So things kind of, worked out good, I think. Because, I mean, not to say whoever the nominee wouldn't have been good, but it might probably, I don't know if it would have been Kamala. I mean, I guess we'll never know. But who might it have been if not Kamala? Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, maybe the first female president, or at least the nominee. I mean, who would it have been? So it's worked out really kind of nice because it's set up. This whole thing of getting this re-energized, this reinvigorated campaign that I don't think we would have had if Hillary had won 2 terms. We'd be, who knows where we'd be. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like you can kind of hurt your brain trying to think about it. But the thing is, we are where we are. Things happen the way they happen. Fortunately, Donald Trump was a 1-term president. The American people weren't gonna stand for a second term of that shit stain. And we got Joe Biden in there, and Joe Biden has done a fantastic, phenomenal job. Like I've said, best president I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. And now, things have happened where Joe's had to step down, and man, we've got Kamala Harris just crushing it, just killing it, man. Just really has woken up a lot of people that I think had tuned out for whatever reason. Right-wing propaganda, the mainstream media not covering, just covering everything Trump and really almost nothing of Biden unless there's some sort of unfortunate video of Joe looking a little sleepy or not, on his best, right? They should cover that, but they wouldn't cover the great economy. They wouldn't cover, some of the great bipartisan bills he was able to get through, like, Inflation Reduction Act and the Chips and Science Act and the was it the Recovery Act or whatever. All these things that he got through, they barely even touch on those. And the great economy, our inflation being the lowest of all the other countries coming out of the pandemic, and the great unemployment numbers, best we've seen in 50 or 60 years, all that kind of stuff. High wages increasing at the highest rate or best, in 50 years. All these things, they barely have touched on that. And they give Trump all this fucking, everything Trump does, they would cover. And so maybe that's why a lot of the electorate sort of tuned out. And with Kamala Harris coming on board, it really, really sparked something. I mean, all of us that were already like us, I always say this, that we are sort of wonky, right? And so, we talk about this stuff every day. We read stuff, see stuff every day. But really, we are the exception. Most people don't do that. And they just see the little headlines here or there, or, if that, because people just don't watch it. And but then all of a sudden they did hear, hey, Kamala Harris is the nominee. And that did break through. That was a big story, and it broke through, and it got people's attention, and they're like, whoa. But but the people like us who do follow this, I mean, what we did and what I did, and I think what a lot of us did was like, all right, Joe's out, Kamala's in. I'm going to show my support. I'm going to throw some money in their way. And you've seen the fundraising, the campaign fundraising on for her campaign has been phenomenal and really precedent setting. So Steve says, even when Reagan won, I was upset about. I was absolutely upset. That was my first election, my first presidential election that I could vote in. I voted for Jimmy Carter, proudly. And that election night, when Reagan was winning and winning and winning and winning, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was young. It was my first election. So I was like, how can people vote for fucking Reagan? I don't get this, I didn't get it. I kind of still don't, because a lot of people, apparently, there were a lot of Democrats that crossed over and voted for Reagan. And I don't know why. I can totally understand why today people jumping ship, Republicans jumping ship from their nominee, from the Republican nominee, and getting away from Donald Trump. I totally can get that. Because Donald Trump is a 34-time convicted felon. He's been found, criminally liable, or not criminally liable, civilly liable or whatever, okay, for sexual assault against E. Jean Carroll. And we do know he's got trials coming up for election interference in Georgia and for stealing top secret government documents, classified documents, stealing them, deliberately hiding them and moving them to his house, Mar-a-Lago, whatever you want to call it, his room there. I mean, he's got that coming up. So I can totally get why people today, Republicans, are coming out and saying, not only am I not voting for Donald Trump, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I I get that. I can get that. I can wrap my brain around that. I cannot wrap my brain around why a registered Democrat would not vote for Jimmy Carter and vote for Ronald Reagan. I do not to this day understand that. Because Jimmy Carter was a good man. Jimmy Carter had no felonies convictions. He had no rape allegations, and he had no, sexual assaults that he lost in court or anything like that. Jimmy Carter had none of that. Now you might say I don't like the way he handled the hostage situation, which was a setup between the Iranians and the Reagan campaign, which was illegal for anyone in that Reagan campaign to act as a foreign agent and to work these deals, these arms deals, all that shit they were doing with selling arms to South American terrorists or whatever, and taking that money, funneling that money up to Iran. I mean, that was such horseshit. Now we didn't really know that was going on until afterwards. I think, right? But still, Jimmy Carter did nothing that was deserving of a Democrat crossing over to vote for a Republican. Okay, like I said, you might be a little upset that maybe he didn't do this the way you wanted, or do that, do a couple things. I don't know, but I don't get it. To this day, I do not understand it. I do not understand it. It's not even close to this situation of Donald Trump, of people, distancing themselves from Donald Trump and jumping to the other side. That's totally understandable. Now I can see, okay, if Jimmy Carter had got convicted of some felonies or something, and had sexual assault charges against him, then I could totally understand it. That would be understandable. But Jimmy Carter was a really good man, a good, honest, decent man, and he was a good president. So, I mean, I could understand if Republicans voted against him. I could understand if maybe some independents, if they, for whatever reason, wanted to vote for Republicans. But I do not, to this day, understand why a registered Democrat would not vote for their party's nominee and vote for the Republican nominee. That does not make any sense whatsoever to me. None whatsoever. And no one has ever been able to adequately explain it to me why Democrats voted for Reagan. No one has ever done that. As Old as Zen says, I'm still afraid that the billionaires have time to make a plan to sabotage Kamala. There we go again. Because I'm reading the name. When I read the name, it looks like Kamala to me. However I said it. Yeah. They really don't want to pay taxes. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We cannot rest on our laurels or get complacent. We can't get cocky, because, they will never stop. They will never stop. So no matter what, even if Kamala wins, and we get the House back and the Senate and all that stuff, we can never rest on our laurels. We can never get complacent. Never. Because they don't ever quit. The other side never quits. It took them 50 years to get rid of Roe v. Wade. They didn't stop. They kept it. They kept going. They got all their pieces in place. They got their SCOTUS they needed, all that kind of shit. They don't stop. MJ Daniel says just a few thousand votes in 45 states gives DAT and a total clusterfuck not going back. Bonnie Thompson, Walter, you can reject Project 2025 by voting. Yeah, make sure we vote. There's Tim Farrell, one of our resident Tims. Hello, gang. He says hello back at you, Tim. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. J.A. Dickey says, even if Obama lost in 2012, Mitt Romney might have been able to fight off DJT had Trump tried to unseat him. 8 years of Mr. would not have been horrid, but we don't get Obama's term 2. I disagree. I think it would have been horrid. Mitt Romney's a vulture capitalist. Don't let him fool you. That's the thing with Mitt Romney. He's like this sheep in wolf's clothing. Or no, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a vulture capitalist. He takes apart companies. He buys companies, gets all the money out of them that he can, takes loans out on them that he can, and then he bankrupts the company. And that's how he would run America. I think it would have been horrible. He would have been horrible. Chris Welch says, I guess, blue wave by maggots. Thanks, Chris, for being here. Good to see you. Tom Bias is here. Hey, TJ, off work early today. Oh, that's right. Tom Bias was saying like his work schedule was preventing him from being here, but you're off work early, so awesome. You get to hang out with us. So good to see you, Tom, over here in the chat, in the driver's lounge. I'm just going to keep saying Mitt Romney would have been horrible. He would have been worse than Reagan, probably. And Reagan was horrible. Any Republican is going to be horrible. And I know Trump sets a whole new level of horribleness. But Mitt Romney is a vulture capitalist. I'm just going to keep saying that. He would have done the same thing. See, that's the thing. They are all the same in that he would have done the same thing. He would have lowered taxes on millionaires and billionaires and multi-billion-dollar companies and corporations. And he would have cut away as many regulations as he could, because they don't like regulations. That would have been his main top two things that he would do. And then he would pander to the religious white or the white nationalists in whatever way he could. That's what they do. It doesn't matter if it's Reagan or Bush or Mitt Romney or Donald Trump. They're all the same in that regard. Bonnie Thompson says we need Democrat supermajority to destroy the Electoral College and expand SCOTUS. I agree. We need those numbers. That's why I always say vote blue no matter who. We need the numbers. Not only do we need a majority, but we need a supermajority in the Senate. We need to override the filibuster. That's why I think we should get rid of the goddamn filibuster. Mike H is here. Good afternoon, everyone, says Mike. Good to see Mike H, our resident troll. He's checking in with us. Chris Welch, 666, Ronald Wilson Reagan. He was of the devil. J.A. Dickey says, I was extremely depressed in 1980. Jimmy Carter loses. Then one of my favorite Beatles is shot in that December. Yeah, that was a rough one. Mike H. Biden has documents too. He does not have documents. He turned them all over. That's the main difference. And he wasn't sneaking out documents like top secret military secrets, like the highest rated. These basically were his notes, Biden's presidential daily briefings. Most of that should have been deemed unclassified anyhow. I mean, there's a huge difference. If you're trying to compare, it's a false equivalency. And when Biden found them, or people in his campaign, or because they were cleaning out an office, they found them, and Biden immediately said, "Okay, yeah, here's the stuff. Go get it, take it, check it out. Get it out of here." And the archives, National Archives, they checked it out. And same way with wasn't it Pence that had documents too? Pence, same thing. He said, here it is. I'm sorry, I got these. Take them out. They check them out. They checked them out. Everything was cool. Everything's copacetic. Donald Trump, on the other hand, first I think he denied that he had them, and then he said, no, they're mine. And then back and forth. Then he said, okay, I'll hand them over. And then he didn't hand them over. He just delayed. That's one of the Trump techniques of delay. This went on for months and months and months. This back and forth of, okay, I'll hand them over on this day or on this day, or it was like, no, these are mine. I have a right to them. That's basically the difference. And finally, it got to the point where FBI had to go in and get them and seize them because he wouldn't hand them over. And we do see, that these are, they have different levels of classification. These were some top secret military documents that we would not want the Russians to see. the Saudis to see, the North Koreans to see. We really don't want anyone to see. The stuff that Joe Biden had was just presidential daily briefings or some of his notes. It was very mild stuff. So to try to compare those is very disingenuous of you, Mike H. It's not even close. Not even close. And I know you're gonna harp on it, but just showing your color, your true colors of what a maggot taint licker you are. Anyhow, we'll skip down a little bit. Well, Jimmy Carter was a true Christian. Yeah, he's a true Christian and he's a great man. And I thought he was a good president. Certainly did not deserve the betrayal of some Democrats that voted for Reagan. He did not deserve that. In 1980, Reagan ran against Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was the incumbent president. You're probably thinking of 84 or something. Steve Sayers, I guess. MJ Daniel, a whole bunch of people should have gone to prison for a long time for the Iran shit. Yeah, they sure should have. And that was, they had the Senate hearings, all that shit. And they just, let them skate. Let them skate, man. Yeah, see, Fancy's here. Fancy's back. I guess Fancy went somewhere. Mike H. Carter made our military weak. How so? How the fuck did he make our military weak? You're so full of shit, Mike. He did not make our military weak. Our military has never been weak. That's just a right wing talking point that is horse shit. Suzanne Forsepi is here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, Suzanne. Good to see you. Good to see you. Tom Bias, because I came late, I can't scroll up far enough to find comment TJ is on. Yeah, I'm behind. I'm trying to get caught up here. Getting caught up. Mike H. If Trump loses, it's because of abortion. That's a big part of it. Rovember, motherfucker. And I think he deserves to lose because of that. Abortion should not be taken away. And it's so much more than just abortion. I mean, it's women's health. There are women that are dying because they can't get the care that they need. All because of this right-wing fanaticism. Mike H. Right-wing fanaticism. You and your party, you are a bunch of fanatics. Alvin's Tube, I see Beetlejuice made it. I don't know who Beetlejuice is, other than that movie character. I don't know if you're referring to something else. Hey, Mike H., we've found some agreement. It says, I agree on Mitt Romney, TJ. Well, there you go. Look at there. We agree on something. Let's see. Tim Frill says, Carter made our military weak? And Mike H.? In one term, how so? It must not have been very strong to begin with. Carter was not involved in any wars. That's just a right-wing trope. They always say that about the Democrats make the military weak, and that we're weak on crime, and all this kind of shit. Meanwhile, they like to storm the Capitol and beat cops with back the blue flagpoles, right? They're such fucking front-running phonies and hypocrites, these right-wingers. And liars, also. Hey, Be Aware's here. Good to see Be Aware. Hello. See you in the chat there. Mike H., he had it in his garage next to his vet. It doesn't matter. He turned it all over. He had it in his office. He had an office, at the university. He had been, I guess, teaching some courses or something, and he had an office there set up. He had some in his garage, like I said, and he turned them right over. National Archives checked them out and said, "Okay, you're good to go. Just, thanks for giving these back." And there was nothing deemed that was like super top secret military secrets, like Trump has. If you can't see that difference, or are not willing to admit it, then there's something wrong with you, Mike H. Something seriously wrong with you. Seriously wrong with you. If you can't tell the difference, if you don't know what a false equivalency is, there's something wrong with you, man. I guess you're just talk about Kool-Aid drinkers. I get accused of being a Kool-Aid drinker. I mean, God damn it, Mike. You are the epitome of a Kool-Aid drinker. Yeah, Mike H., you're licking Donald Trump's taint. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling you out, dude. You're a Donald Trump taint lickler. Let's see. MJ Daniel, massive national security breach from MAGA, and there needs to be serious consequences like long periods of time. Right. And my whole point, the whole reason I got on that subject is because Jimmy Carter never had anything close to that. I mean, Jimmy Carter was basically as close to a saint as you're going to get. That's my thing. I was talking about Democrats crossing over to vote for Republicans. I do not get that. In the 1980 presidential election, I still to this day do not understand why a registered Democrat that votes for Democrats would all of a sudden vote for Ronald Reagan. Makes no sense. Whereas it does make perfect sense to me why Republicans are bailing out on Trump, because Trump is fucking evil. That's why. It's not even close. I mean, it's not even close. As old as in, some of my family hate Jimmy Carter for no reason other than he's a Democrat. I love them, but they are idiots. Now, look, if you're not a Democrat and you hate Jimmy Carter, I guess I can understand it. I don't really understand why you would hate Jimmy Carter, but I could understand why you would not vote for him if you were a registered Republican, or if you were independent that always voted for Republicans or leaned that way. I can understand that. That's what you do. You vote for your party or the party that you identify with more, right? I do not understand. I've said that I should stop saying this. I'm sort of beating a dead horse, but I do not understand why a Democrat would not vote for Jimmy Carter. I do not. That's what perplexes me. I understand Republicans not voting for him, of course. Anyhow. MJ Daniel, the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut happened when Reagan was president, and he immediately withdrew U.S. troops. Yeah, so maybe the military was weak under Reagan. I don't know. Let's see. Bonnie Thompson says this chat is like a family dinner. Some arrive a little later, and a bunch of hugging hellos before we eat. Yeah, well, I know. Just come on in. Here's wishful thinking, happy woman. I've never seen you in here before, so welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Welcome to my show. I hope that you'll give me a like and a subscribe and a share and all that good stuff. Right now, it looks like we got 43 watching and only 39 thumbs ups. So we need to get those thumbs ups going. But anyhow, wishful thinking, happy woman says, Trucker John, hello from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, swing state and the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Well, welcome, wishful thinking, happy woman, to the Driver's Lounge, and I'm glad to see you, glad to have you in here, and I hope you'll stick around with us and hang out, every time. Be aware says that Trucker John, what's your take on O'Brien being a shill for the right? That's the Teamsters one. I always get him mixed up with the UAW one because they both have. I think Sean is their first name. I haven't really been following it that closely, other than I'm really disappointed. I don't really get it, other than maybe the guys on the take. I don't think that even the members of the his membership are really on board with that. And I think there's been someone who has immediately come out and said they're going to run against that guy, for president. So, I mean, this is I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been following it too closely, but it sounds like a guy who's been taking some money. He's on the take, and so he's going to get the money or whatever. But he'll probably lose his position as president because I don't think the Teamsters are happy with that. On the whole, you know what I mean. So I think he's been bought off. Is what I think. Jolie says we are family. Bonnie Thompson, being that all of mine is MAGA. I'm so glad to have all you in my life. Great people here. Well, thank you, Jolie. Always good to have you here, and thanks for helping me out. Keith Polite says abortion made the November ballot in Missouri. Good news for down ballot, including Lucas Kuntz beating Josh Hawley. Yeah, Lucas Kuntz, that's the guy I think has a good shot of beating old Twinkle Toes there. That's what I think. MJ Daniel says Mike Pence did the same thing as President Biden with finding dogs. Would you charge him? Look, how many times I got to say this? They found some, and he handed them right over like he was asked to do, and they cleared him. He's already been cleared. They said thank you very much, and like I said, it was all low level shit. It wasn't. There's different stuff, guys. I think there's a difference between having some notes or maybe you didn't get cleared with the National Archive office or whatever, or having some PDBs or whatever laying around, than having top nuclear missile secrets and battle plan secrets. Do you not see the difference? For God's sakes. And then refusing to hand them over, lying that you have them, and then you say you do have them, and they're yours, and then saying you'll hand them over, and then you only hand over some of them, and not all of them. You can't see the difference? Jesus Christ. Mike H., I put up with a lot of your shit. But if you're going to come out with baseless allegations like that about Jimmy Carter, then you're pretty close to getting removed. Rock 4419, I voted for President Carter. I was so sad too. There goes my voice again. So, MJ Daniel, I voted one time for a Republican President, Reagan, the year I turned 18, never again. Okay. Yeah, and that might be a little bit different. It's your first election. You don't know what's going on. I could see that. But I guess basically I'm talking about people who have been registered Democrats and have voted before, and then all of a sudden they voted for Reagan. That's the ones that really leave me scratching my head. But if you're 18 and it's your first election, I could give you a little. I could cut you a little slack for that. Oh yeah, James Williams and James Hermeo are both here. Yeah, those are two resident Jameses. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for being here. Well, Mike H., thank you for the thumbs ups. And maybe, I called you a taint liquor, and maybe you're still here because it's not too far from the truth. I don't know. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Tom Bias gas prices blew up to 95 cents per gallon. But so that's enough reason for Democrats to ditch them. I could see, again, I can understand Republicans bitching about that. And even maybe Democrats bitching about it, but not crossing over. That's the thing that gets me, is the crossover. And you can blame OPEC on that shit. That wasn't Carter's fault. That was fucking OPEC, man. Walter McCarvich, how can anyone hate President Carter? He's one of the most humanitarian persons in lifetime. What he's done for people is astounding. Yeah. I'm getting a little thirsty. All right, so hey, Mr. Spock's here. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you. Oh no, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm crossing uh, universes or something. I don't know. But Mr. Spock says, "Howdy, everyone, TJ and everyone. I'm building a better quail cage today. All right, that's good because you want the quails to be in a good cage." Terrius, I worked, I think, at a gas station during rationing. Sorry for the tongue jut. I felt like there's something going on there. I don't know. Mad Max here. Hey, good to see Mad Mac. It says, or the green, yellow, red flags they put out too. Laughing out loud. I remember the odd and even days and all that shit they were doing. That's still not reason to cross over when you could blame OPEC for all that shit. Let's see. Everyone's saying hi to Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock getting lots of response. Lots of bird lovers, I think, over here. Hey, here's Pamela. Pamela says, just stop by to hit the like. I had to pick up my grandson up from school. Early dismissal day. Check in when I get back. All right, Pamela. Thanks for checking in. Hey, go pick up your grandson and come on back. We'll probably be here for at least another hour. This is about roosters. For fuck's sakes, I'm really stoned. Oh. Was it roosters or quail? I don't know. Wishful thinking, having woman says Trucker John Republicans is losing shit, but because Walls is the guy you would love to have at your party, where JD Vance is the guy you would ditch at a party. Exactly. Suzanne says, Mr. Spock, my chickens died due to the heat wave. Oh, that's so sad, Suzanne. Sorry to hear about that. James Williams says, good morning, Mike. Still trying to figure out if you are really just a curmudgeon or a full-blown troll. The jury is still out, but try to be nice. Change is good. Alvin Stoops says, Mike H., that was Billy, his brother. So I guess I skipped out. I don't know what Mike H. said. Oh, about being an alcoholic. Oh, yeah. Bonnie says, young roosters are funny when they first start crowing. Sometimes they crow until almost passing out. Suzanne says, we are getting a heat index of 108 to 112 here in southeast Texas. I know today here in Vegas it's supposed to be, I think, 105. Or maybe, it says 103 today is the high. Right now it's currently, I think, 91 outside in Las Vegas. Beautiful Las Vegas. Fancy, just bragging. We're expecting 82 here today. Down there in beautiful Los Angeles. Mad Max says, my friend still has a 6-pack of Billy beer in the fridge. Well, my God. Is it worth anything? I don't imagine you could drink it. It would probably kill you. I wonder if you could sell that on eBay for any amount of money. Rob4419, Tim is the man you'd count on to pick you up from a party when the other dad forgot. Tom Bias says, if Star Wars happened a long time ago and Star Trek happens in the future, we're living in the times of Vulcan Jedi. Gerald Moraine says, peacocks are scary, but they have beautiful, what do you call it, plumage or something? Mr. Spock, comedy is subject, or is it subjective? Fancy says, but they are so beautiful, Gerald. Bonnie Thompson says, peacocks are annoying. They scream help all day. I think I've heard that. I think I've actually heard them. Mad Max says, 76 are in Seattle today. Talk about bragging. Joel Moraine, you got it. Not sure what I got. Suzanne, Heatwave or Deadly. James Jaramillo, says Joel Moraine, I still have peacock feathers from my first summer youth job, which was 33 years ago. Wow. Hey, Jupiter Judy's here. Good to see Jupiter Judy. Afternoon from East Coast of Florida. Say hi to Hal if you see him. Hal's over there in Orlando, I guess. Alvin Stoops says 81 at noon in southern Illinois. That doesn't sound too bad unless your humidity is really bad. So here's another thing that I found somewhere I thought would be interesting. Now, looky here. Okay, instead of me bashing on Mike H or whoever, let's look at this for a little bit. Here we have uh-oh. Oh no. What have I done? I did not want to do that. How do I undo that? There we go. I was trying to expand this. Okay, look. So here we have Donald Trump's debts, outstanding bills, campaign. These are for places that he campaigns at. And I think this goes back to 2016. Yeah, a lot of these 2019, 2016, 2018. The motherfucker doesn't pay his bills. The supposed billionaire, multi-billionaire, supposedly, and he's having trouble. That's why in Billings, Montana, they wouldn't let him park his plane or whatever because he owes Billings, Montana $43,000. Look at there, Spokane, Washington, 65 grand. Minneapolis, he owes over $500,000 in Minneapolis. And you can see the list, $211,000 in Albuquerque, $569,000 he owes El Paso. Mesa, Arizona, 64 grand, Tucson, 82. I mean, and this, I bet you this is just a partial list. You know, I mean, I as far as places that he has stiffed, we can just leave that there for a bit. But and this is who the Mike H's of the world support. This is who they vote for. They vote for this lying charlatan. I'll learn how to talk one day. I do a show that requires talking. I should probably learn how to talk. This is who Mike H supports. This lying, grifting con man who stiffs people at everything. Now, where is the person from Germany? What was the name? Who wanted us to watch that movie? I did watch that Trump movie. I did watch it yesterday, and it's just another case, another incident of Trump just not giving a shit about anyone but himself, about ripping people off, about hurting people. This mainly the main story of that. I can't remember the name of it now. It was Yeager. What was Yeager that asked us to watch that movie? And I can't remember the name of the movie. It's on YouTube. It's Have You Been Trumped or something like that? You've been Trumped. And it's basically the story of the golf course that he built in Scotland, and the with the club, you know, the golf club and all that stuff, and how there were some people that didn't want to sell their land, so they didn't take the offers, so they built the club, you know, adjacent to his place, this family, the Forbes family, and so their source of fresh water was piped in from, I guess, a water source, a spring or something, but it had to go across the Trump property to get into their land. And Trump basically destroyed that pipeline and claimed it was an accident and that they would fix it. And they never fixed it. And so this family for 5 years had to get bottled water. I mean, they couldn't shower. they had to just take sponge baths or whatever. They had to just rely on getting bottled water. They couldn't get water to their houses because they had a few houses. It was a family, and they had houses on this property. And Trump just, at first they said, yeah, and Don Jr. said the same thing. Is totally like very Trumpian. He's like, we're going to replace that pipeline. It's going to be the best pipeline. They never did do it. They said they go into their delay tactics, and they could have repaired it, but the inference is that they intentionally um, destroyed the pipeline because they wanted them to get out. They wanted the land, and this family would not sell because they'd been living there for generations, and they didn't want to sell. They didn't want to move. So the inference, because it was never admitted, but is that they did that because they're trying to drive them out, and so if they cut off their water supply, they figured that they would maybe leave, and also for punishment. It was also, you didn't take our offer, so we're going to punish you by not giving you the water. But also, it's probably to try to drive them out. So for 5 years, they still hadn't, and this is when Trump was running. It happened before 2016, but then it was still going on. This was 5 year period during the 2016 campaign, and this family, the producers of that documentary, I think they flew them out to the RNC in 2016 in Ohio, I think it was, and and so they were going around just telling people about what Trump was doing to them, just to let them know what a horrible person that Trump was. Now we know it didn't really help because Trump still won, but it just shows. It's just another example of what a shitbag Donald Trump is and his immediate family, for sure. Don Jr. and Eric, and they're just shitbags. And eventually the guy, after 5 years, the guy who owned the land, the Forbes property, he eventually just, because he had tractors and stuff, and this guy worked, he was like a mechanic, and he worked, machinery and stuff. So he got his old tractor, and he went over to that land, and he said Trump security was watching him and everything, but they didn't stop him apparently. And he went ahead and dug a trench, and he found where the pipe had been broken, and then I guess they had been getting some water through the pipe, but he said it was all like old oily sludge, like sewer water that had been washing into the pipe. So whatever water they did get from that, out of that pipe that was piped into their homes, was oily, dirty, just like gutter water. So he repaired the pipe. He ran new pipe into the main, I guess the water main that they had, and he was able to restore water to them after 5 years. But he had to do it himself, and he had to basically violate the law by trespassing onto Trump's property, and he had enough, and he said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to fix it myself," and he risked getting arrested. Now Trump, they didn't. No one stopped him. Maybe because the security there, they probably thought that it was wrong of Trump to do that anyhow. Maybe Trump didn't get notified of it and or something. I don't know, or maybe Trump, once he did get notified of it, was like, okay, it would just be bad publicity if we tried to go after them for that or whatever. But anyhow, it's just another example. We have these examples. Trump doesn't pay his bills for these rallies, the campaign rallies that he does. That's why a lot of places are saying you can't come here anymore. That's why he has to find some field somewhere that someone might let him use, and all that kind of stuff. So there's just example after example after example of Donald Trump being a total shitbag. So Yeager, I forget the exact name, but had suggested we watch that, and I watched it yesterday. So it's pretty good. It's just another example again of Donald Trump being a less than quality human being. James Williams says Trump has always been a one-man crime scene. Getting very thirsty. Yeah. And that's why it's a great line, that Tim Walz line, where he talks about, crime. And he's like, that doesn't even include Donald Trump's crimes. Let's see. Robert Perez, you gotta love plumbers. They deal with shit daily. Yeah, Jeannie's here. Hello, Jeannie. Good to see Jeannie in the driver's lounge. Thanks for coming by. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff. Let's share. Cian says, I had the cleaning lady today, and yeah, busy day again. Hungry, also not eaten yet, but I hope you're all okay. We're doing okay, I think, and hope you're doing okay. Yeah, get something to eat. You can listen while you get something to eat, maybe. Let's see here. James Armio at Robert Perez, Boston Brian. What about Boston Brian? I like Boston Brian. But anyhow, as well as in another reason he deserves to go to jail. Absolutely. He deserves prison. Steve Sayers the same way Trump ran the country, terribly. Yep. Nick Rich 56, like number 50, late but trucking on. Better late than never, Nick. Like I always say, better late than never. Glad you're here. Thanks for hitting that like button for me. And yeah, hang out with us for a bit. Cia says she comes once a week, so it's not daily. Hey, it's good to have have a little help. I remember for a while, way back when my kids were young, we hired a house cleaner to help out, and she would come once a week, I think, too. And we did that for maybe a year or so, just to help out, because we had two young kids, and it was just we were working. We were both working at the post office, like graveyard shift and all that kind of stuff. So we also had a nanny for a little bit to help out. So we had a nanny, but I think those were, I think not at the same time. I think we had the nanny for a while, then we had a housekeeper for a while. We did, not at the same time, because the nanny was sort of like a housekeeper too, right? Let's see. Fancy says, it's okay, Cia, and I live vicariously through you. Put your feet up while they work for me. Rob 4419. I have one. It's me. Talking about Buzz Bryan as a plumber. Okay, so that was the plumbing reference. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. All right, so everyone's saying hi to Nick. Yeah, so what else is going on in the world? Anything else going on? We got a big election coming up. How many days away are we? We're like we're in the 80s, right? I forget how many days, but we're counting down the days. Can't come soon enough, right? When we get Kamala Harris into the White House and Donald Trump into the big house. Isn't that what they call prison? Isn't that one of the terms for it? The big house? I believe it is. Robert Perez, Slava Ukraine, democracy is alive and kicking ass in good old Kursk. Now, I didn't read the stories yet on it, but I did see some headlines, apparently. Ukraine is getting further and further into Russia. And I say go all the way to Moscow and stick a tank turret right up Vladimir Putin's ass. And then pull the trigger. Or however tanks work. James Armio, 82 or 83. Is that temperature? We're talking temperature? I don't know. And that Fancy says, that's right. I can't wait to get my vote in. Steve Sayers says, today, 82. The days. That's right. See, I forgot what I had just said. Yeah, so Steve Sayers says 82. We're down to 82. It's going pretty fast, guys, because I can remember just a few days ago it was 85. No, I mean, I can remember when we started this countdown. It was when people started talking about a countdown. It was like 105 days, 104 days, 100 days, 99 days. Now we're at 82. So before you know it, it'll be here. Again, like I always say, make sure you're registered. Check out your registration. You can go to vote.org, and then that will provide a link there to go to whatever state you live in, and you can check your registration. That's important. Vin Bowie says hello, Purple Heart. Hello, Vin. Again, Vin was here. He's been here, I think. Cian says it's not like that. I work 24/7 actually, but nobody should feel sorry for me having having tops 25 days free in a year. But yeah, I know it's not like that. Like kicking your feet up and all that stuff. I know. And having a housekeeper come in once a week. It's not like you're living in royalty or or whatever. Like I said, we had one, and we were just postal workers, and we needed the help because we had two young kids. We were both working graveyard shift, and we even hired a nanny for a while. So, and that wasn't because we were like big fancy rich people. We were postal workers, for crying out loud. Nick Rich says, "Is he the only rooster, Mr. Spock?" Oh, Mr. Spock talking about roosters again. Mr. Spock, where's Waldo, Nick Rich? I'm going to wonder. Come dispatch day. I don't know what that means. James Williams says, when Trump was just a corrupt fraud, jail would have been appropriate. He moved up to being Putin's lackey, traitor, and mass murderer. That needs a more appropriate sentence. Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. CN says, glad that Ukraine is doing better. Hope things go even better soon. Well, Ukraine has been kicking the shit out of Russia. They're losing over 1,000 soldiers every single day. Russia is. And Ukraine is kicking the shit out of them. And like I say, they need to. I think they should just go all the way to Moscow. CN says, glad that Ukraine. Oh wait, I read that. Vimbu is doing a A-OK. Vimbu is A-OK. Mr. Spock, there's a mix. Nick Rich, 50%, I suspect, but still funny. As well as in CN, I get that. When I worked 35 hours per week, I had no energy to clean. Elvin Stube, Howdy, Nick Rich, Fancy. That must be affecting their population. They've lost over. They're almost at 600,000 casualties. The Russians are almost 600,000. Can you imagine if the United States was in a war and we lost 600,000 soldiers in 2.5 years? Could you imagine the outcry? I mean, this I can't even imagine that. I mean, we lose soldiers, and it's one is too many. I mean, we don't want to lose anybody, but we lose, over a 10-year or 20-year period in Iran and Afghanistan. If you combine those, I don't remember the figures, but like maybe 10,000 or something over a 20-year period. If you combine Iran and Afghanistan, and that's way too many and was horrible. But could you imagine if we lost 600,000? I can't. I don't know what we would do. I don't think we would put up with it. Alvis too. We'd be marching in the streets. Yeah, like. Yeah. See, it says, "Hey TJ, I was not talking about you. I know I was talking about me. I was talking about you. I know how the world works. It's all good, and I know that as well. No word. Yeah, I was defending you. I was kind of defending you if people were trying to uh, imply that you were being all lottie dotty, as we say in America. And I was just pointing out that even I have had hired nannies and housekeepers for a few years there when our kids were really young, and we were both working graveyard shift at the post office. Like we're post workers. I was trying to defend you. Okay. Anyhow, whatever. Nick Rich Puff Puff Pass. I have no idea what that means. Something about, are you applying makeup with one of those puff puff things and then you're passing it? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, 4419. Agree. Trump never faces real consequences. Uh, yeah. I think his day will come. I think his day will come. Let's see. William says the thing is the Russian don't know what's going on because the media is controlled by the state. It's very hard to get that information to them. I think some people know. Some people are able to get maybe some outside information, but yeah, the masses don't know. But at some point, I mean, you can only hide so much, and at some point, I mean, what's it going to take? A million casualties, a million KIAs. I don't know, but at some point, that media blackout can only go so far. But the thing is, yeah, it extends it to the point where, they're where they're at, 590,000 or whatever it is. I forget the number, but eventually that's gonna, not hold up. I think, you know. Jupiter Judy, Puff Pass. Who's next? Keep it going around, I guess. Nick Rich, that's it, John. Makeup for stress relief. Jupiter Judy, 56. Nick Rich, you crack me up. And Mr. Spock too. Okay. CN says, hey, Fancy, no worries. Just being honest, why I will be laid often, and also I will start once a month to paint the house, etc., etc. So in the future, I will be late or not there, laughing out loud. You're not going to be there? Robert Perez, did Nostradamus predict the coming of Trump and all his trouble? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Isolde says, did you all see Hal's stream with the lisp? Yes, I was watching that yesterday. It was hilarious. What's the deal on that? Okay, so people are talking about why was Trump lisping all of a sudden? I don't believe we've ever had that, other than that one time when he said, God bless the United States. Now, here's my theory. Now, I know Hal has talked about that Trump has veneers and that once a year he gets them replaced or whatever. So maybe these are some sort of temporaries or something while he's getting them replaced. I don't know if that's a one-day procedure or what. But maybe he's got some sort of temporary thing going on or something. That's why they didn't do it on camera. Also, it was not. That was just this was his voice. There was no recording. Maybe there's some sort of temporary thing going on while he's getting his new veneers put in. I don't know. That's kind of my theory. Because all of a sudden, why has he got this lisp going? And they're not dentures. People are saying that his dentures were slipping or whatever. But he either has veneers or implants. And if you don't take care of your implants and brush them like you do normal teeth and take care of them, then he might have to get implants replaced too. I don't know. I don't know. James Hermio says, isn't a mother or sister going to become suspicious when their brothers and sons disappear and don't come back? Exactly. That's why I was saying at some point, this sort of media blackout or media control that Putin has in Russia, it's not going to last. I mean, at some point there's going to be a breaking point where even that won't hold. So yeah, Jay says his dentures were off. Like we've said, many people said he doesn't have dentures. Now I don't believe he's a multi-billionaire, but I do believe he's rich enough to get either implants or Hal calls them veneers. Veneers are basically when you grind your teeth down to stubs and then they put veneers over them, right? So there's that, or there's implants where they actually pull out the teeth and they screw these like little these it's like a base or whatever into your jaw, and then they put like a a fake tooth over those. So those are different than veneers. So according to Hal, he says he has veneers. According to Randy Rhodes and to other people, he has implants, which are different than dentures. So whatever it is, it was pretty odd, that he was all of a sudden he had that lisp going, and like Hal said, it sounded like the character from that one cartoon movie about the prehistoric animals. I can't remember the name of. Fancy says Michael Cohen says he doesn't have false teeth. So there you go. Now we've got another source that says he doesn't have false teeth. Nick Rich sounds like a lot of crap. As old as in, I'll watch the replay because of work. Jupiter Judy hole and soft palate from snorting drugs. Maybe it finally busted open a big hole. All that Adderall he's been snorting or whatever. Jay Sands, he was on cocaine. Well, now we're just all speculating, wildly. James Williams says Hal also suggested it was a hole in the palate from years of drug abuse. Then this hole, did it just now appear? Or did it maybe grow to a certain size that's causing that weird lisp? Jolie says, I was listening while on a walk as old as in and laughing my ass off. Pretty sure my neighbors think I'm nuts. So funny. Hey, Non-Useful's here. Says he may have had a transient stroke. See, now I say we're just really we're throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks, I guess. But hey, Non-Useful, good to see you. Thanks for being here in the driver's lounge. Thanks for stopping on in. You guys make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Let's get the share going. Get the sharing going. Mr. Spock, I have a problem with dialogue, though. I need a Bernie Taupin. Elton John's writer, lyricist, Bernie, it's not Taupin, but you're close. Nick Rich says a swollen tongue from licking his own taint, perhaps? Boy, talk about wild speculation. Fancy says it sounded like the spit was flying. Jupiter Judy, snorting drugs causes a hole in soft palate. That's the list. Okay, then this is the first time we're hearing the list like that, so I guess he just now finally got the hole after how many decades of snorting stuff. It took a long time for that hole. Jupiter Judy, he's broke now. Jupiter Judy, my cousin did that to himself. Nick Rich says Don Old said he'd be into putting on diamond grills. Oh yeah, that's when he was with the chair sniffer. Tom Bias is going to throw something in there. Botox injection to the tongue. Yeah, why not? Let's throw that in on the list of possibilities. Fancy, how much drugs must you have to do to make that happen? Well, I know Hal's been saying that John Jr. has that thing. too. The palate thing. And I think Don Jr. just goes for the hard stuff. I don't think he's doing Adderall. I think he's doing, straight up cocaine. Probably. Robert Perez, Trump is going to do a Ross Perot and go insane, hopefully. Did Ross Perot go insane? I didn't hear about that. Jupiter Judy says, a fancy, Trump has been snorting drugs since the 70s every day. I think it only takes about 10 or 20 years. So if he's had this hole for a while now, maybe it just got to the point where it's expanding or something. Mr. Spock says, yep, 100% TJ. I don't know exactly what that's in reference to, but whenever someone says I'm 100% right about something, I'm going to just agree with you. Nick Rich says he might have swallowed his palate plug. Oh, weird. I don't know. If you swallowed your palate plug, wouldn't you just choke to death? I don't know. Yeah, Jolie, Sid the Sloth from Ice Age, or should they say Sid the Sloth? Sid the Sloth. Yeah, that was pretty funny. We might see more of that on Hal's show this afternoon if he wants to finish that, because he only did a little bit of it because he had to go. He had to go. I gotta go, he said. Mr. Spock, Trump is a full body heave puke. William says Don Jr.'s on meth. Oh yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, meth. I did it back in the day. It takes one to know one. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Don Jr. is just wasted all the time. I mean, every time you see him, you can just tell he's fucking just totally wasted, man. And it was kind of sad to see if you watch that video I was talking about that Jaeger had been saying that we should watch, and I can't remember the name of it. I guess if I looked at my history real quick, I could look it up real quick. Let me look it up. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, You've Been Trump Too is the name of it. It's an hour and 18 minutes. It says the film the Trump organization tried to suppress. You've Been Trump Too. I guess it says 2020. I know it, but it all takes place right leading up to just before the 2016 campaign and right up to that, just before the election. You've Been Trump Too. So if you look at that, and a lot of this was filmed even before 2016, probably 2015 and maybe even 2010. And you see Don Jr. and you see how young he looks. So young. I mean, it's already been 10 years, 10, 15 years. But he didn't look so wasted. I'm not saying he didn't do drugs back then. He's probably been partying his whole life. But he might not have been doing meth at that time. Maybe he was just doing your occasional coke and your occasional maybe getting high and maybe drinking, whatever, your typical kind of partying type of thing. But he didn't look just gone all the time. Like now you see him, you could tell he's definitely, talk about Don Jr. is abusing something using and abusing something that's way more serious and hard than just coke. So he probably is meth, because you can definitely see the difference in how he looks, and he just looks wasted every time you see him. He goes on TV, he goes on camera looking totally wasted, man. Nick Rich says, how's Odd's schedule caught me by surprise yesterday? Missed it. Rewind was hilarious. Another greatest live stream of all time ever. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. And Hal is coming on sometime today. I don't think his normal time, because he said the time might be different. Like I said, he's in the Eastern time zone, and he's in Orlando. He's in Disney World and having a good time with his girlfriend. So I don't blame him one bit for having his schedule being off kilter. Mad Max says Don Jr. has to do something in order to get in bed with scary as fuck Kimberly Guilfoyle. Good old Kim, as I like to call her. Actually, I've never called her that before in my life, but if you look in the background very closely here, you mean the old crotch grabber? She's grabbing her own crotch, you know. She had to grab her own crotch, I guess. That was Kimberly Guilfoyle, by the way, who had, sometimes you got an itch, and you just gotta take care of it, you know. Sometimes before whatever is causing the itch, gets away. You know what I mean? Dick Rich 420 all day. Fancy said he said late probably. So what's normally for us 3 p.m. over here on the West Coast, or West Pacific time zone, might be later than that. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. James Hermio says, Mad Mac, damn, a gallon of tequila wouldn't even make that gargoyle look good. I look good. Oh, yeah. Miss Fuck, I used to shoot coke. I thought anything else was a waste. I call it my year of hell. Wow, Mr. Spock coming in heavy with the confession there. A drug confession. I never shot anything. I did a lot of snorting of various things in my day back in my youth. I never shot anything up because I did not like needles. So that's probably what saved me from shooting anything up. Diane Capobianco's here. Kimberly used to be married to Gavin Newsom. Yep. That's a fact. That's a true fact. Diane, and thanks for being here, by the way. Thanks for jumping on in here to the driver's lounge. Good to see you. Cian says, Benji Daniel, I have never ever did that, and I know people that did soft drugs, but they got different lives. But I don't judge, just not for me. Yeah, it's probably best that you stayed away from it. Walter Makarovich is here. Walter's been here a while. Says, I just had my day made, got my pass to Harris and Walls rally Saturday, September 7th, and let's not forget Trucker John less than 5 days Democratic Convention. Yes, the DNC is coming up. That should be a fun night. I'm looking forward to that. For sure. Fancy says, I know, Diane, the before and after is like night and day. We've got critters down there. James Williams, the human body has no way to process meth, so it secretes through the skin. That is why chronic addicts pick the scabs and smoke them. Oh my God! James coming in with an oh my God moment. Wow. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Oh my God. That is an oh my God moment. James Williams, you have won the oh my God moment of the day. Yikes. Yikes. Wow. Whew. Walter Makarovich, I'm going to the front row. Front row. Get there early. Don't do like I did. Get there early. Try to get the best seat you can. MJ Daniel, I took LSD in 1980, strangest 24 hours of my life. Yeah. You could trip on that. Rob 4419, we're always speculating on Trump because he's so dishonest about who he is. Yeah, that's true. Robert Perez, can you imagine Donald Trump high on cocaine, and trying to pick up chicks and dancing at Studio 54 back in the 70s? What an awkward scene that would have been. Laughing out loud. I'm not sure if we have to imagine. I think we see that Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, that was later, a little later, but yeah, there he was. He was the big shot down there. I guess. I guess he was. Mr. Spock says, I should be dead. Last time the guy that got it said hey, that's too much. I took a 1/3 off and was way too much. He saved my life. Wow. Diane Capabianco says, Fancy, yeah, I don't sleep good at all. Constantly waking up because it's freaking hot and humid in the house. I sweat through shirts just sitting on the couch during the day. Wow. Yeah, that's not fun. I'll take this dry heat over you guys' humidity any day. Any day of the week, any day of the year, any day of the century. I don't know. Let's see. Diane Capiano, good to see you too. Trucker Joe. Thanks for being here. Mad Mac, that's fucking gross as fuck. Yeah, I know. Matt Fancy says, that is sick. Jeez. See, was it Robert? Or no, it was James. One of the Jameses. You've got us all freaking out, man. Nick Rich says, strange facts will freak you out. Let's stay away from the fetishes, please. Well, I don't know if it's a fetish or not, but, you know. I'm glad you're here. James Williams, my daughter is an inner city physician. It turned my stomach when she told me. I feel your pain. I'll feel your pain. Bad Mac driving that train, high on cocaine. Mr. Spock, I did 17 hits of acid over 3 days. Oh my God, Mr. Spock. Oh my God, that's a lot of hits of acid. I only did, I think, 3 hits of acid in my whole life. Fancy, that is the sickest thing I've ever heard. And that was way back, guys. Way back in early days. By the way, just so you know. I'm starting to get numb butt, as who was it, Pamela or somebody would say? Talking about numb butt. I'm getting there. I need to readjust somewhere in my chair here. All right, there we go. Hope you guys can still hear me. Let me sit up a little bit. It says James Williams, my daughter is an oh yeah, we read that one. Driving that train, high on cocaine. Let me make sure this doesn't fall out of the little holder over there. Okay, Fancy, that is the sickest thing I've heard lately. Yep, me too. William says, Spock, you sound like my kind of guy. Jolie, James Williams, oh my God, award for today. And there you go. There's your little trophy provided by Jolie. Fancy says, Mr. Spock, we are lucky to have you. Yeah, we're glad you survived. I think we probably, a lot of us have little survival stories of getting through our drug and alcohol days. James Henry, not this James. Yeah, it was James Williams. Google it. Oh, yeah, we believe you. We believe you. Bonnie Thompson says, I was always too conservative or prudish to try drugs other than weed. And you probably, it's probably good. That might be the one time when conservatism might be a good thing. Hey, there's Jeff Curry says, pretty sure I have a broken leg. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know if go to doctor or just load hitter pipe. Who am I kidding? It's the pipe. Okay, well, maybe you should go to the doctor and have it checked out anyhow, just in case. I feel like I moved up, but now I'm like way too close to the camera. But I do need to sit up because I'm getting numb butt. Let's see. 56. If Vulcan has a different metabolism than other species. Non-useful says, I'm growing magic mushrooms in the bathroom window. Wow. Who knew? Who knew you could just grow some magic mushrooms in your bathroom window? MJ Daniel says, your Cheech and Chong up in smoke moment. Whoa. You just ate the most acid I've seen anybody eat in real life. Wow. Yeah, good old Cheech and Chong. Get a Cheech and Chong. Robert Perez says, "Get up and stretch your hamstrings live on air, Johnny." Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to see that or not. But yeah, I'm losing my voice now. Mr. Buck says, I fell asleep peeking. Guy came back from a weekend trip. Nobody had hash but him, smoked some, and peaked on acid. So exhausted I fell asleep. MJ Daniel, and I drove when I partied that much too. Amazing I am around. Yeah. Yeah, thank God you didn't, hopefully you didn't hurt anybody else and hurt yourself and all that stuff. Ozona Zen says, my BFF loves weed, so I tried it and hate it. I can get that. I understand that. I had some weed. Was it last year now? It was a few months ago, last fall. And I didn't really like it all that much. But Jolie says I was hitting it too hard, I guess. I thought it was like, I thought I was in 1980, and just hitting a joint. And I was on like a vape pen thing. And apparently you're not supposed to hit those as hard as like a regular old joint or something. I don't know. But I kind of felt I didn't really like the effects of it. It made me feel really just like I was in a cave or something. Or no, I started to explain. I kind of didn't like it, but I kind of like the edibles though. I did get some little gummy edibles. I kind of like those. I was I would eat one of those before I went to bed. And I kind of like that. Kind of was nice. Kind of relaxed me. Jeff Curry says, "Ain't there a new Cheech and Chong movie coming out?" I don't know. I haven't heard. But they're still around. They might as well make one. Well, it'll probably be funny. Somebody's trying an edible. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I kind of like the edibles. Mr. Spock says, I was watching the Steve Martin movie, All of Me, and it was a cartoon. Was it? A cartoon? All of Me? Hmm. Jupiter Judy, Mr. Spock, who rolled one with the paper from Bamboo album? Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was Stu Dabs. Steve Sayers, they said we could smoke grape wine too. I could never get it to work. Grape wine? Yeah, I never heard of that. Mad Mac, I love seeing Chevy pull off the freeway full of smoke inside. Oh, that Chevy. That was so damn funny. Michael Miranda, I still have the Cheech and Chong album and paper. Jolie says, yeah, you smoked way too much, Trucker John. Yeah, I was just hitting it like it was 1980 all over again or something. After not smoking for like 30 plus years, by the way. Non-useful says 80s weed was truly weed, which was truly weeds. Only 8% max THC today. 98% THC. Oh my God, no wonder. No wonder. Nick Rich says, my mama talking to me, trying to tell me how to live by. I don't listen to her because my head is like a sieve. I guess that was a song lyric. As well as then I had the gummies and they hit harder than smoking to me. Well, maybe the gummies were too big. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not an aficionado on that. So I don't know. Mad Mac, I do too. At Michael McAndrews, I didn't feel it with my old socks and things or anything still in the holder. Wow, that's pretty cool. You guys kept that after all these years. Mr. Spock, how about McLean and McLean? The Jesus is just a guy is classic. It's been so long since I listened to Cheech and Chong, I don't even remember a lot of those. Fancy got to run. Have fun, guys. All right, Fancy, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you hanging out with us. And we should be doing this again tomorrow on Thursday, our regularly scheduled day, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then Not sure about the pre-show because I'm not sure what Hal's schedule is going to be for the pre-show hangout, but we'll maybe figure something out. But for sure, tomorrow 9 a.m. Pacific time, be coming on back. So yeah, we're just talking about pot. I'm gonna skip some of the pot talk. I think we got enough. We've covered that enough, at least for me reading it. Basketball Jones, Man Back Hoopers, Back Jones. I got it back. Oh, of course, Basketball Jones. That was classic. Basketball Jones. I got a Basketball Jones. Basketball Jones. Ooh. Basketball Jones. Yeah, I remember that. You rake my eye, change up his milk. It's like, class. Class. Shut up. Anyhow. Yeah, that was funny. Talk about the good old days. The good old days. Michael Meandros, one time my neighbor shoved a plate of brownies in my hand and took off for Xmas. I wasn't sure, but I ate one. I had to lock the windows and doors to stay in my bedroom. It made me very paranoid. That's what the pot does to me. It makes me paranoid. That's why one of the reasons why I wasn't a bigger pot smoker, because it always made me feel paranoid. Or, I mean, that was one of the effects. It also made me kind of, I think the paranoia was because it made me feel goofy and funny and, um, I don't know. And it just made me feel like I couldn't defend myself if someone was going to throw down on me or something. That's what I mean by paranoid when I talk about not like a paranoid, like everyone's watching me or something. Non-useful infused joint with diamond kef. Okay, I'm not going to get all of the weeds on the weed. Minji now, my vinyl from junior high and high school is gone in various reasons, and I wish I had taken care of it. I had 2 full cardboard boxes of some great music. I know I had a great record collection too, and it's mostly all gone. Wish I would have kept better care of that too. Let's see. Paranoid isn't good. Yeah, it's not good. Nick Rich Cannabis is great. Some people love it. Some people don't. Hey, Jolie says that Michael McAndrews. I got my mom high once. She got super paranoid, then passed out on the couch. See, so paranoid isn't uncommon, I guess. Mr. Fox says Peter said to Jesus, "The meek shall inherit the earth." Jesus says, "What did you say, man?" Peter says, "Never mind, Jesus. Jesus was just the guy." So that's is that coming from Cheech and Chong there? Jeff Curry's son and I smoked some and watched Borat 2. That was a good time. I just think it'd be weird getting high with my kids. I'm not saying nothing against you, Jeff Curry, but I just think for me, I don't know. I just think it'd be weird getting high with my kids. Like I'll have a beer with my kids. We've had drinks at restaurants, but I would just feel weird getting high with my kids. And they're in their 20s now. It's not like they're little kids or something, you know what I mean? But anyhow. James Hermino says, the paranoia is why I quit cold turkey on July 3rd, 1994. Wow. All right. Robert Perez, I suffer from PTSD, so weed with my Lexapro is helping me out a lot. Well, that's great. That's great. That's why I'm all for legalization, because it can help a lot of people. And it's not like, it's not like heroin or something, Michael McAndrews says, I had a roommate one time, and when I would smoke one, he who did not smoke would pass out if he was in the same room. Well, that secondhand high there, that contact high really got to him, I guess. Roxy's here. Roxy was here earlier. I guess, did Roxy leave and come back? Yeah, good to see you again. Thanks for being here. Jupiter Judy, I only get hybrid or indica. Sativa makes me anxious. Yeah, so I guess all these strains now, there's all these different strains, and, it's a whole thing. Back in my day, it was just like, I mean, yeah, there was different places where it was grown, and it would have names and stuff, but it doesn't seem to be as like complex then as it is now. Tom Bias, you can get paranoid without using THC. Yeah, that's true. You can. But that's a whole different thing. Mr. Spock, no, it's McLean and McLean. The album cover, they had a tandem bike in front of a guy who had no arms. The back guy's no legs. That's McLean and McLean. I never heard of them. I never heard of McLean and McLean before. I've heard of Cheech and Chong. I never heard of McLean and McLean. Let's see. Jolie says, I get high with my daughters all the time. None of us drink very often, so to us, it's the same thing as having a drink together. Yeah, I'm not putting that down if that's what you do, and you know, that's just like a normal part of your guys' activities. I'm just saying, for me, I would, I just would feel weird. I don't know why. Let's see. James Wayne says the same drug affects everyone differently. It depends a lot on your individual metabolism. My wife gets extremely paranoid, even with small exposures to the substance. It isn't for everyone. Yeah, that's true. Michael McAndrews, is pot legal in Illinois? And just so you know, it is pronounced Illinois. You don't pronounce the S. I think I hear other people do that. Kind of bugs me. MJ Daniel says pot quality used to be really inconsistent. What I am smoking now is 28.7% total. Wow. Just dial it in, huh? You just dial it into where there's a certain number. Non-useful. We would get high and go to the planetarium laser show at Pink Floyd the Wall. I remember I did that at the Griffith Observatory, and they were playing, I think, Dark Side of the Moon. This is way back. This is before the Wall was even out. I remember, and I got so high. It was with my cousin Dan, and we got so high, and we went to Griffith Observatory, and they used to have in their planetarium, they would run. I think it was the Dark Side of the Moon. I think whatever it was Pink Floyd. It was way before the Wall came out. This was like a few years before the Wall came out. So, and I remember just being so high and just like kind of tripping. Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't so paranoid then. I know me and my cousin Dan, we've had kind of a falling out lately because of Trump and all that shit. But I can tell you, Dan was like a brother to me, and if I got high with him, I always felt I didn't feel so paranoid. I think because I always knew Dan had my back. Like if some shit was going to go down, Dan had my back, and so I think I didn't feel so paranoid. I don't know. Let's see. Jupiter Jolie, I don't drink either. I smoke bong hits. Joints are a waste for me alone. Robert Perez, Teamsters get it done. Are you that far behind? Because we were talking about the Teamsters thing way back like an hour ago. And I think, anyhow, if I want to go back into that or not. Tom Bias says, have you heard of Fireside Theater? Yeah, I've heard of that. They do little skits used to be on records, basically. See, in the pot squad here, laughing out loud. Yes, I think smoking pot is better than drinking. We've really opened up a can of worms here. The pot smokers are really getting into this part. Rob Perez, hello, local 63 members. Robert Perez, what do you think about? Is it the Teamsters president? Is that the Sean O'Brien who's backing Trump? I believe he's going to lose his job over that. I think he's going to get challenged in their next election. James Hiramio, UFCW Local 7 here. I was APWU. I forget our local number. Been a while. Hey, Dale Francisco. How you, trucker? Hello, Dale Francisco. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping in the driver's lounge. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share if you would. That'd be pretty awesome. Non-useful says, I'm getting high right now at home with my homegrown. Steven Sayre says, have not thought about Fireside Theater for ages. Thanks for finding that memory for me, whoever that was a while ago. Yeah, I remember. I think I've heard some of their little skits. They were pretty funny. Funny group. A funny troupe, as they like to say. Del Francisco says, oh, what? Who is smoking pot? Puff, puff, pass it here. Yeah, they've already been doing the puff, puff, passing, apparently. Metaphorically. I mean, this is a chat room on the internet. We're not all actually in the same room. So, Tom Bias vote to legalize nationally. And I think that will happen. And certainly much better chance of that happening with Democrats than it is with Republicans. That's for sure. Michael McAndrews, what makes you think I'm stoned? I don't know. Did someone say you were stoned? Mad Mac, first time I took acid, the underground FM station played Echoes by Pink Floyd, and that outer space music in the middle of the song really got me flying. Scary and fun at the same time. Nick Rich, well, it's 40 below, and I don't give a fuck, and I'm off to the rodeo. Now Nick is singing some song. I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Cian says, well, here in the Netherlands, it's different, and that is why the rest of the world came to us, mostly Amsterdam for the weed and hashish. Yeah, good old Amsterdam. That was one of the places I always wanted to go to when I was like in my 20s. And I never did get there. And now, I'm kind of past all that. Jeff Curry, just on news, avoid exercise when overly fatigued. Holy shit, I would never have thought of that. Oh, and Mike H is still here. I think they should legalize weed. Well, and that's another thing in Mike H. You're in agreeance. Is that a word? Agreeance? With probably a lot of people in this chat. So there we go. We've found some common ground with Mike H. Michael McAndrews, I'll smoke whatever the fuck I want to smoke. All right. All righty then. Jeez. Simmer, Michael, simmer. MJ Daniel, I could go through a fifth of 100 proof vodka by myself and want more at one point. I don't drink anymore. Non-useful says, don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me. Jay Williams, love that song. I don't even know what song that was, Nick Rich. I don't even know what it was. Del Francisco says, it's legal. Interesting spelling. Here in Minnesota. But we are waiting for the dispensary, I guess, to open up next year. Jupiter, anyone watch 21? Oh, SR Suffragettes? Tuesday at 2 p.m. on YouTube and Twitch. I did not catch that episode. I think I was watching Hal. That might have been when Hal was on, wasn't it? Tom Bias pissed me off, fucking jerk. Uh-oh. What's going on? What's going on here? Let's not get pissed off. Robert Perez, see Dick get a union job. See Dick get livable wages and benefits for his family. See Dick vote for a Republican candidate. Don't be a dick. Yeah, I think your guy is going to go down. I think he must be on the take. But I think it's going to cost him his being president. Someone's going to challenge him in their next election for their national president there. Nick Rich, I was in Amsterdam in 1990, a month before the Pink Floyd Wall performance at the Berlin Wall. Oh, that sounds really cool. That sounds like a fun time and a good time. Del Francisco, no need for a hostile weed person. Chill. Yeah, let's chill. Raw 4419, they were warning pregnant women not to drink years ago, I remember. And they still do, right? I mean, that's still something that you're not supposed to do. Jupiter Judy can't go here. Houses too close. Sheriff helicopters. Oh, yeah. They'll get that infrared on you, man, or whatever. You know? They'll see it. They will see it. Now, I know a lot of you probably think I'm a big weed smoker. Well, to tell the truth, I do indulge here and there, every now and then, you know. But the main thing is, I just hope everyone out there is feeling good, whether you imbibe or not. It's up to you. You know, I believe everyone should have that choice, have that freedom of choice. But basically, I just want you guys to know that hanging out with you guys here, I feel like it gives me kind of a natural high. It really does. So I just want to let you guys know that I feel really good. I hope you guys are feeling good. And that's basically my message. Is let's all help each other out, help us get through the day, get through the next, 82 days? And let's get Kamala Harris elected president of the United States of America. That's my message. All right? And so just everyone make sure you're registered to vote. And let's not get cocky out there. All right? Let's make sure we vote and vote blue all through the ticket. Let's take back the House. Let's keep the Senate. All right. And then party on. Party on, as I like to say. But responsibly. All right. Responsibly. Responsibly. Yeah. All right. I'll go along with that. I usually don't like to agree too much with Purple Beard guy there. But yeah, be responsible. But party on, man. We're going to vote like it's 1999. All right? No, don't vote like that because Gore lost in 2000. But you know what I mean. It was more of a Prince reference than anything. Hey, man, look at there. I'm seeing a big old super chat from Non-Useful for $10. Thank you so much, Non-Useful. You're not so non-useful after all. It says, now look at here. I guess I'm going to have to read the super chat. It says, Cannabis was one of my arsenal of prescriptions I used to keep my food down. I'm going to go ahead and do a little editing there for you, Non-Useful. Okay, food down. Okay, I got you. All pharmaceutical meds didn't work, but weed did. Weed was my savior. Now it's for arthritis pain. Wink, wink. No, I added the winks. I know, it's real. Hey, man, I'm all for it. How do you think I get through the day? You don't think Tough Cookie's over here puff passing? Of course, I don't pass it to anybody. I bogart the whole goddamn thing. But when you're a tough cookie, I mean, things are hardening up that aren't supposed to be hardening up, if you know what I mean. So you better believe old Tough Cookie's gonna partake. How do you think I get through the day being such a tough old crusty cookie? Huh? Yeah, you better goddamn well believe it. I'll do edibles. I'll do whatever. It helps the tough cookie sometimes not be so tough. You know what I mean? Kind of smooths me out a little bit. All right, so, hey, man, I'm all for it. Let's get it off the schedule. See, I think Biden did that, didn't he? So thank you, Joe Biden. And let's legalize it nationally. Let's just do it. Let's do it to it. All right. All right, guys. Don't be so tough on yourselves. Oh, let me do all the toughness. All right. I just want to say hi. And thanks for that super chat. There you go. Those guys popped in. They just popped in unexpectedly. Excuse me as I cough. But thank you, non-useful. We got a super chat. Those are always fun. We get those. We got, by the way, we got super chats. We got super, what's the other one? Super stickers. We got like, subscribe, and sharing. That's completely free, and it really helps out the show. We've got memberships available. We've got a bunch of members, a bunch of great folks support the show that way. We've got Buy Me a Coffee, all that good stuff. So thank you, non-useful, for that super chat. That was fun to read, fun to hear Tough Cookie's reading of that. I think that's the first time I've ever seen Tough Cookie read a super chat, and I think he did a pretty good job. Let's give Tough Cookie a big hand to Tough Cookie for reading that very nicely. I thought Tough Cookie did a very good job. Tough Cookie, you did a good job. The funny thing would be if all of a sudden Tough Cookie responded. Anyhow, Julie says, I'm in Indiana, no abortion, no weed, neither on my ballots. Mike H, total bullshit. Now, I missed, apparently, Mike H's deal. So Mike H says, I'm in a state that will probably be last in line to legalize weed. Last in line. I forget what state you're in, Mike. So, hey, there's Bicycle Bike 42. I'm in constant pain. I only use weed. Yeah, see, that's it does help you with the pain, and where you don't have to use, there's so many pharmaceutical drugs that have so many side effects that people don't like, and so weed can be very beneficial, pot, whatever you want to call it, with reducing pain, um, in a way where you don't have to deal with all those side effects of pharmaceutical drugs. So that's why I'm for it. Robert Perez, I saw Depeche Mode play at the Rose Bowl at Pasadena back in 1988. Best concert to get high on I've ever seen. Yeah, Depeche Mode, I like them. They're pretty good. Let's see. Roxanne, nice, non-useful. Mike H, Steven, I'm Indiana. Yeah, Mike H is in Indiana. That's a tough state. James Williams, I remember that just because it is legal doesn't mean it's going to be good for you. Caution is key. CN, thank you all. See you later. Thanks, TJ. Thank you, CN, for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I hope you will come back. Like I say, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and you are in the Netherlands, so adjust accordingly. Just the time there. And Nick Rich, or Miss Fox on you, it's almost 420. Nick Rich, Tough Cookie endorses cannabis. Tough Cookie not only endorses cannabis, Tough Cookie apparently, partakes. I didn't know. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Zolazan, we need a Tough Cookie emoji. Non-useful. I'll make some cannabis butter so you can bake yourself. There you go. Go bake yourself, man. Pamela, I made it back. Hey, Pamela's back. All right. Thanks for coming back. That's right. Pamela had to go pick up her grandkids. And here we are. We're still at it. We've gone over the 2-hour mark. So I'll probably be signing up pretty soon. I don't know if I want to go another 45 minutes and just go up to the Randy Rhodes time. I probably should not go that long because I've got stuff I got to do and stuff I got to get working on and taken care of. There's Jolie with those reminders about memberships and super chats. And you can support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing, or buy John a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com. Nick Rich, time to roll the dice. And by doing that, I guess Nick Rich meant by gifting a membership and see who gets it. So thank you for doing that, Nick, by the way. And Del Francisco, the Del Francisco treat, got a membership. Thank you, Nick, for doing that. That is really nice of you, and thanks for supporting the show in that way. I'm knocking into my stand there. That's not a good thing. That's not good. Not a good thing. But thank you, Nick, for doing that. Let's see. I'm just sort of scrolling on down. CN is heading out. It says bye everybody. Trying to find who those people are that wants to cause trouble with the votes and drag them in the light so everyone knows them, and cops too. Laters. Later, CN. Yeah, I think the people trying to mess with the elections, I think, now maybe I'm naive, I don't know, but I think they're going to have a much harder time of it this time around. Because I think that we are onto them. We know what's going on, and we don't have. Trump's not in office. Biden is in office. Biden is the president, and so it's a little different this time. Whereas when Trump was president, he could look the other way. He could do whatever he could to sort of sabotage or departments and things. So it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be so easy. Joe Biden's going to make sure that anyone who tries to do like fake electors and all that kind of shit, they are going to be arrested and they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So I think it's a whole different game this time around. But we still have to be vigilant, and we still have to, watch. Be on the watch. Be on the lookout for any shenanigans. Jolie says, I live just outside Bloomington, Indiana, at Mike H. Del Francisco, maybe he was made with cannabis. Mike H. Chronic pain can be reduced greatly with quality weed. Right, I agree. Michael McAndrews, I used weed to get through the day, otherwise my mind would get blown. Nick Rich, I my next few hours planned with chores. There you go. Michael McAndrews has been smoking weed for over 50 years. Over 50 years. Over 50 years. It's a long time. It's a long time to be smoking some weed. I tell you that much for sure, by golly. Michael McAndrews, I write some heavy-duty server and app code for Windows, and I use pot to be able to sit there and go 3 to 4 levels deep with my coding. Wow. Non-useful. It was fun today. Keep it going. Time to clean the chicken coop. Yeah, so I think we're going to be ending the show. Everyone's got chores to do. So we'll take a little break, do some chores, and we'll probably see each other in House Sparks' chat room at some point. I think he's going to come on sometime today. Be on the lookout for that. And I will see you guys right here on this Truckerdon channel, this YouTube channel, at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I will see you then. Diane wants to remind us that people need to volunteer to be poll watchers. Yes, at voting locations, Trump team is recruiting people to be poll watchers, but really they'll be there to intimidate and try to pull some shenanigans. So yeah, that's a good way to combat that. Be a poll watcher. Steven Sayer says, TJ, others better clean my chicken coop too. Is that what we're calling it these days? Anyhow, Jeff Curry may go to the doctor. I watched leg go from yellow. Yeah, get to the doctor, please, Jeff Curry. Get to the doctor. Get ye self to thy doctor. Please, your leg's changing colors. That can't be good. Pamela, checked my voter registration today. Still good. There you go. Yeah, get to the hospital, man. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Let me scoot up a little bit here. And just remember, Donald Trump is a crook, a liar, a thief, a rapist, a traitor. But let's not get overconfident and think it's in the bag like I think we did with Hillary. Kamala Harris certainly has some great momentum going. Let's keep that momentum going all the way to November. 82 more days. We're going to vote. We're going to vote for Kamala Harris. We're going to vote blue all down through the ticket. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so there's that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I do need to go do some stretching because I do not want to pull a hamstring. Don't want to do that. Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So I style of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about gold chimes, but if we did, I'd be on to glad. So hasta la vista, baby, the show is over, but could I ask maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should've stopped a truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win, right here on the Trucker John kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We gonna come back and do